Just come in and share. Just come in and share. We going in. We about to go in. Just come in and share. We about to go in. Get ready. I was told I couldn't go live unless I shared this right here, so I'm making sure that I share this real quick. We got to have a real conversation today. Just go ahead and share. Let's get this thing knocked out. Okay. Now that that's out the way, let's get down to business. There is numerous conversations going on. These conversations basically outline what matters more. Is it Black Lives Matter? All lives matter? Blue lives matter? We have conversations like this. We listen to people steadily have these debates about what matters more and why it should matter. And we watch people come up with points, come up with statistics. We watch them take advantage of our good damn common sense. Come on in. This is Mario J. This is Tough Love Podcast. Today we have a serious, deliberate conversation. I want y'all to come in, I want you to share, and I want you to open up your ears right now. Because I'm about to say some things that's really going to shake some shit up. There are a lot of conversations about what people feel matters more. Black lives matter, all lives matter, blue lives matter. And my question right off the bat is, what matters enough to take action? What matters enough to do something that's going to actually be beneficial to everybody? Do we have to call it all lives matter? Now, we know that every single time that we talk about Black Lives Matter, someone says, well, all lives matter. We talk about blue lives matter, someone says, well, Black Lives Matter. My question to you is, what matters the most to actually do something about it? Have we cracked the code on actually doing something about issues? I can sit up here and I can tell you, as a black man, as a United States Army veteran, I can tell you, hey, Black Lives Matter. Knowing several police officers that don't break the code and actually are protectors and providers and all of that good stuff and have integrity, I can tell you blue lives matter. Being in the armed forces and being around other races in Iraq and Afghanistan, traveling with brothers and sisters in arms, I can tell you, hey, all lives matter. I can have the argument with anyone and have the debate with anyone in regards to what lives matter more. But my thing about it is, who is taking the stand to fix some shit? Now, I'm going to break down a scenario that actually happened, that happens in America. And for some reason, when we capture these things, see, here's the thing. We hit a mark when it came to George Floyd. A lot of people said, you know what? I'm not celebrating George Floyd because George Floyd was a criminal. That was Candace Owens' argument. Why are we celebrating a criminal? Okay, Candace. Okay. A lot of people said Black Lives Matter. What's up with all the looting? What's up with all of the nonsense that's happening with the protesting in regards to Black Lives Matter? Black Lives Matter must be a terrorist organization. It's interesting that the conversation has now went to terrorist organization when I have never heard anyone conservative or otherwise, say anything about the KKK or any other majority white group to make them a terrorist organization, to pronounce that we need to do something as Americans. I've seen white people show up at rallies fully armed and ready for some shit to pop off, but I never heard them say that they were a terrorist organization. We know that there are people planted to dismantle all of these scenarios, all of these quick slogans that we have. Black Lives Matter. We are going to put people in place that's going to fuck some shit up. And then we're going to say that Black Lives Matter ain't shit. We're going to say that all lives matter ain't shit. We're going to say that blue lives matter ain't shit. Let me get to the topic of the conversation. Listen up, Aurora, Colorado Police Department. You decided that handcuffing a 6-year-old girl, putting her face down on pavement, hot pavement, was going to deliver a message that you are fighting crime, that you are protecting and serving. I want to talk to the people that's defending this shit. I want to talk to the people that say blue lives matter and we should stand behind these officers. They shouldn't be fired. They shouldn't be thrown in jail. Police brutality don't exist. I want to talk to the motherfucking people that think this shit is cool. Let's have a conversation. This is tough love. This is Mario J. This is what we do over here. We handcuff this little girl because she is riding in an alleged stolen vehicle with her mother and other family members, all women. We stop the vehicle and we lay everyone in the vehicle on the ground in a prone position and we handcuff them. We steadily, as officers, all Caucasian officers, both male and female, probably with children of their own. And we listen to these black people cry out, "Stop! Why are you doing this to us? We're not guilty. We didn't do anything wrong. I want my sister. I want my mother." And we as Black Americans, we as human beings, we as law-abiding citizens are supposed to sit back and make excuses for police officers that's supposed to have the training, the discernment to say, you know what? This is wrong. We shouldn't do this. So let me break down a better picture for y'all, because some people ain't gonna get it, right? Don't just come in here and share this. Just go ahead and get it out the way. First of all, they got their wires crossed and stopped the wrong vehicle. Okay? How long does it take to find out that you stopped the wrong vehicle? I don't know. I'm not a police officer. However, I do have common sense. And I do realize that a 6-year-old is not a threat to me. I realize that. Just as a human being, who is arguing that a 6-year-old is a threat to a police officer? Who is arguing that this encounter with the police officer should not alter this child's outlook on what authority in reference to police looks like? Why would black people be outraged by watching this? It's the media. The media is turning Black America against white America. Let me ask you this. How many videos have you seen with Caucasian children, young, 6-year-old or younger, being handcuffed and put on the pavement? How many? Who would tolerate that? Who would stand by and listen to a child scream and plead for their mother, handcuffed on pavement, Would you do something? This is not George Floyd. This is not the criminal that you said, oh, well, Black America always thrives at promoting their worst. This is a child. This is when I want to see the Candace Owens and the Brandon Tatums come out from their conservative patch and have the tough conversation. What are we doing about it? Are we calling it something else? Because I call it fucked up. If that's not police brutality, I don't know what is. Every single time you talk about police brutality, the first thing they want to throw up is statistics, as if people are not being crucified. Now, somebody's going to play with that word. What do you mean crucified? There are people in America, okay? There are people in the United States of America, all right, that are undergoing this type of rhetoric, that are undergoing this type of brutality, that are undergoing this type of bullshit. What do you say to a 6-year-old that is now handcuffed, weapons fully drawn? How do you calm down her cries? What type of conversation do you have? Is that not going to alter her outlook on authority? So now if she grows up and she has a disdain for police officers, somebody's going to say, oh, they're just doing their job. We're tired of watching people make excuses for police officers. We have given them the benefit of the doubt. We have thanked them, awarded them, hallelujah them, and now it's time to hold people accountable for their actions. This is not a black thing. It's not a white thing. This is a humanity thing. This is a human thing. At some point in time, we must hold people responsible. Let's have a conversation. We get so lost in trying to promote our point of view. We get so lost in trying to argue facts that are facts, trying to dismantle statistics that are statistics. And we never get down to the end result. We never get down to the solution. People are screaming police reform. People are screaming dismantle the police. People are screaming every single thing, but ain't nobody talking. Ain't nobody talking. At some point in time, you got to sit your ass down and come up with some real solutions. Come up with real ways to fix problems. My thing about it is I think that we are still in this rut of, if I don't live in an urban community, then I shouldn't be worried about urban problems. You're not worried about urban problems until those urban problems come knocking on your front door. Until you're at a store and you're getting robbed. Until you're at the mall and someone's punching you in your face. Until you're at church and all of a sudden loud music and drugs and all types of stuff is around you. Like, you're not worried about anything other than your community. And my thing about it is, if you live in a suburb community and you don't have problems with police, is it hard to have a conversation about police brutality? Is it hard to have a conversation about police reform? What do you do? If you're not affected by it, should you have the conversation with it? I'm telling you right now, all over social media right now, if you look at the types of things that's being promoted, right? And I want you to take that thought process and I want you to think about you out on a Sunday drive with your children. Okay? And APB comes out and says, we're looking for a stolen motorcycle. And for some reason, the wires get disconnected and the police say, you know what? I think they said a black truck. I think they said a black SUV. So what happens is the police decide to pull you over with your children on your joyride. Stay with me, folks. I'm going somewhere. They pull you over with their weapons drawn. Now, I'm 6 years old. Okay, what's going through my mind right now? Somebody talk to me. What they say, talk black to me. I want you to talk human to me. Talk human to me. Talk common sense to me. Weapons drawn. You now are forced to get out your vehicle. And now you're getting laid on the ground with these policemen, these white officers standing over you and telling you to put your hands behind your back so we can handcuff you. And you watch your parent get handcuffed. Your innocent parent get handcuffed. Now, here's my thing. Some people would say these policemen were doing their job. My thing about it is this. You think it's a stolen vehicle? Got it. Okay, check. Common sense. Let's stay with them, right? You tell everybody to get out the vehicle. Okay, check. Common sense. All right. You say, I see adults. I tell the adults to lay down. Okay, check. Common sense. They need to hash some shit out. Okay, check. Common sense. Before they even got to the vehicle, they probably ran the plates. So if the plates don't come back stolen and the vehicle is registered to a certain name. Now, in order to get that information, okay, you still think it is hostile, so you handle it in a certain type of manner. So you want everybody in a position so that way you can handle the situation. Okay, all the adults on the ground. Okay, got it. Prone position, handcuffed. But what about the kids? Somebody's trying to tell me, Mario, this ain't a racial situation. This could have been anybody. Well, my thing about it, it wasn't anybody. It wasn't anybody. This could have been you. Whether you black, whether you white, whether you Hispanic, what Arab, Chinese, it doesn't matter. This situation could have been you. I'm so tired of people acting like, well, they're just saying that because they're black. But you could have been white. And here's the thing. If you're not upset at the situation, you know damn well that police don't do this shit in your area. Huh? You know damn well that ain't no way in hell that police are going to snatch you out your vehicle, draw their weapon, and tell your goddamn 6-year-old to lay on the ground while they handcuff y'all and listen to y'all beg and scream and plead. Why? If you're that comfortable as a white person, hey, listen, go ahead and block me. Go ahead and block me. Because you don't understand what we're talking about right now. You ain't never been in a situation where your back's been against the wall and you're looking like, oh my God, I hope I make it home tonight. Do we confuse this situation not being a human situation because, oh, well, you know, maybe that child was a bad child. Candace Owens, maybe that child had a criminal background. You didn't want to celebrate George Floyd, so should we celebrate this child? Should we talk about this child? Maybe her parents deserve to hear their child plead, I'm innocent. We didn't do anything wrong. Please let me get to my baby. So imagine that being you and your child. What would you do? We're tired of hearing these distasteful, these unalluring apologies from police officers that decide what we're killing off black people by the goddamn, you know what? Here's the funny thing about it. Because I was about to say by the numbers, but here's the thing. When you say by the numbers, the first thing someone says is, well, more white people are dying by police officers than black people. Well, here's my thing. Why the fuck you ain't mad about it? Why you ain't outraged about it? Why you not speaking about it? Why does it take black people to say, we ain't with the bullshit? We ain't with the fuck shit? And when they start speaking out about it, why do you say, well, why are y'all mad? Because more of us are dying than y'all. Well, here's the thing. None of us should be dying. None of us should be dying. Then to combat that, you say, well, black people are black people's worst enemy. They're killing off each other. We deflect so many issues, we never fix them. We deflect so many issues, we never get down to the damn solutions, and the shit goes on and on and on. It is more shit than just Chicago happening. We don't need the media to portray anything because we have people living in these cities. It ain't the media. If you have someone telling you that I just got stopped by the police and my children were in a vehicle, they pointed their guns at me, they laid us on the ground, it was hot, it was emotionally draining, it was physically draining. If you have all of this shit happening, what do? At what point in time do you tell yourself, you know what, man, this is some fuck shit. This is some bullshit. When do you get mad? We are under this impression that as long as police brutality doesn't surface on our block, in our community, we are not going to have this tough conversation. We're not going to listen to anybody screaming police reform that live in an urban neighborhood because it's almost like they deserve that shit. How do you console a 6-year-old who's been through that type of trauma? What excuses do you make? What apologies do you give? A parent's biggest job is to protect and provide for their children, to teach them how to be responsible, to teach them how to respect authority, to teach them how to be productive citizens. And what happens if the other adults that surround those children don't respect them enough to consider them to be humans? I would love to talk to the Aurora, Colorado Police Department and find out who has children and find out who thinks that what they did, those officers did, is cool. It's cool. This is when other officers should be outraged. This is when everybody should be going to the fucking net and flooding that shit, but I don't see that shit. I don't see that conversation from all of these love and relationship experts because we still talking about fuck boys and we still talking about clubbing, but ain't nobody trying to tackle anything tough. Somebody said, well, why ain't you did a one-on-one with Derrick Jackson yet? Why ain't you done this and why ain't you... Listen, they don't want to have this type of conversation. They want to pit black men against black women against black men. This is the conversation that they want to have. Who's having the tough conversation and where are the solutions coming from? We as human beings are tired of feeling like we are under duress. We are tired of being challenged by authority that should be protecting us. I don't care what community you live in. That's the problem. You want to promote All Lives Matter, kudos. You want to promote Black Lives Matter, kudos. You want to promote Blue Lives Matter, kudos. My thing about it is, what matters more than fixing the problem? When do we get to fix the problem? I don't care what color your skin is. If your 6-year-old is being told to lay on a hot-ass ground with handcuffs out while the police point their weapons at you, it ain't about what your race is. It's about right. And I'm going to tell you right now, what white person is looking at that fucking video and saying the police officers did the right thing? Tell me. Share this shit. I want to know right now. I want to talk to those Candace Owens following, Brandon Tatum following, and I want someone to defend All Lives Matter in that situation. Blue Lives Matter in that situation. Right now, the topic right there looks like Black Lives Matter. Because that looked like a black child laying on the ground crying for their mother. That looked like a black mother pleading with white officers, please, So how many videos do we need to see as Black America to say Black Lives Matter and it actually means something in America? Should we not be outraged? Should we not give a damn? This ain't a racial conversation. This is a real conversation. This is the conversation that all the people that you admire on social media right now, that you follow and they dress up like fucking men dressing up like women, women acting like this acting like this. This is a conversation that we should be talking about as adults. Huh? This is the conversation we should be having. If it was my child, I have 5 daughters. And if any one of the police pull a gun out on my daughters, it's going to be fucking smoke in the city. Do you understand me? You disrupt arguments. You feel like you dismantle arguments by throwing statistics out that still have not fixed the problem. Anybody that's living in America today, if you took any type of real history class or whatever case it be, there is no argument that says slavery did not exist. I'm about to break some shit up right now. Don't play with me. Slavery did not exist. Okay, let's stay right there. Okay, so we all know slavery existed. So I want to ask you something. If you were a slave, okay, for generations, and the people that enslaved you benefited from that slavery, do you not think that they would have a fucking head start in the same land that you helped build? I want somebody to argue that point. Argue that point. So now that we scoot forward a little bit, we skip a couple generations or whatever case may be. Some people say, well, we ended slavery, so why are we still talking about it? Why do black people got this chip on the shoulder like America owes them something? They do. They do. Just like they owe the fucking Indians something. And how dare you ignore that fact? There's not a history professor that I've met that said, you know what, hey, black people got railroaded. Huh? The Indians got railroaded. Do you not see that shit happening with the goddamn Washington, D.C., the Redskins or whatever? People are noticing the fuck shit and saying we need to do something about it. So why are we talking about all lives matter, black lives matter, blue lives matter, humans matter? And if they matter, why are we not fixing this shit? Why are we not fixing this shit? Are there good white people? Hell yeah, they're good white people. Are there good black people? Hell yeah. Are there good Hispanic people, Korean people, Arab people? Yes. But are there some bad apples? Let's talk about the bad apples. Bring your ass here, boy. There are bad people in every race. Those bad people do not represent the entire race of fucking people. They don't. Are there some goddamn people out there, black people killing other black people? Hell yeah. Are there some white people out there killing other white people? Hell yeah. Are there Hispanic, Korean, Arab? Hell yes. We need to stop trying to generalize all and start dealing with individual people. Do police brutality, does it exist? Yes, that's a fact. That's a fact. And here's the thing. It's hard for someone to videotape police brutality when they're on the fucking ground with their 6-year-old crying and pleading to a bunch of people that should know better and standing over them, watching them. You can't tell me that don't feel like some type of slave master? Somebody with authority who's talking to someone else that they don't feel is equal or not as in authoritative position. Well, I'm going to do this to you and your child. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? When you feel powerless and you watching your little girls cry, you're so busy trying to defend what matters, but you ain't doing shit to fix it. All lives matter. Black lives matter. Blue lives matter. Do you matter? When do you matter? When do the people that you say you love around you matter? See, here's the thing. It's a lot of fucking cowards out there. It's a lot of cowards out there. See, me as a black man, if I get on social media and I say Black Lives Matter, you say, well, of course he's going to defend black lives because he's black, right? Then you get people that says, well, I'm a white person and I think all lives matter. Okay. Then you get a police officer who says, you know what, I'm black and there's another one that's white, but we believe blue lives matter. Okay. So with all of these things that matter, who is promoting the solution? Who's promoting the solution? And why is it that if Black America starts screaming Black Lives Matter, why do we look for all the bad stuff that they're doing or that is encompassed with Black Lives Matter? We don't look for the good. We don't look for the actual meaning. Someone says, well, I went to the website and that doesn't sound like, you know, Black Lives Matter is something positive and blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up. We try to dismantle everyone's argument with a cliche, with a ha-ha, with a taboo, with a gotcha. Instead of taking what they're saying and say, well, obviously, there's a need for it. You can't say it's not a need for Black Lives Matter. You can't say it's not a need to hear all lives matter and blue lives matter. The need is that we need to combine every single thing that we say matter to us as Americans, to us as Americans, to us as people, as humans, as taxpayers, and say all of this shit is now combined. We matter. That's the fucking hashtag. Because just promoting Black Lives Matter, then you get somebody saying, oh, let's videotape these people that got paid to go spray on this fucking thing and say BLM. And then you see this shit on national TV, people who got paid to do this shit and still say, well, Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization. So let me ask you a question. This little girl laying on the ground and pleading for her mother. And her mother laying right beside her, helpless, with a handcuff behind her back. What matters? What catchy slogan should I be using right now? Should I be more worried about the police officers? Should I be more worried about the black people on the ground? Should I be more worried about everybody that's involved in that situation? All. What should I be worried about? Or should I see myself in that situation, a powerless, helpless situation, and be concerned, be offended? Should I start having conversations with my children and say, if we get stopped, this is what you should expect? But here's the situation, folks. Me as a black man, do I have the same conversation to my children as a white man would have with his? Do you have the same conversation as a black American that a white American would have with their children when stopped by the police? I want someone to answer me. I want you to answer me. See, when it sounds a little bit different when you're not playing and it's not gimmicky and we're not worried about what we doing this weekend and who turning up what and who dating who and what Beyonce said. It's a little bit different when you got to deal with some real shit. When you actually ready to have the tough conversation. Y'all better share this. You might not get this again. What's the moral of the story? What's the point that I'm trying to deliver? The point is we have to have these conversations with our children. It's not good enough to wait till they're old enough to drive, because now it's affecting a generation that has not even blossomed yet. You know, that still think, you know, Saturday cartoons is important, and eating cereal and playing video games and being little girls and boys. We must now encourage them to understand that there is a fight going on. There is a war going on in America. And a lot of people, for a lot of reasons, are ignoring it because they're trying to say, why are people so upset? This is the greatest land in the world. And if you don't like it, you can leave. If black people get together and say, we are tired of the fuck shit, we're going to band together. You grab your gun, you grab your gun, and guess what? We're now militia. Well, no, not according to white America. You're a terrorist organization. I challenge you to challenge the people that you listen to on social media to have the tough conversation. I challenge you not only to share this once, but share it to everybody on your timeline and ask them for feedback. I want to know, am I barking up the wrong tree? Am I expecting too much from America? Should I be having a conversation with my children about things that's going on in the world? Or should I let them be children and discover for themselves that the world is not your friend and the world feels they don't owe you shit? You need to earn it. Well, here's the thing. When you're born in America, according to the Constitution, should I be treated with dignity and respect? Or should it matter what my skin color is? Should I use my freedom of speech to have a conversation about police in areas that are fucking up? Should I speak about these things? Or should I say, you know what, I live in the suburbs. I'm not really privy to having that situation, so I'm not going to talk about it. I'm going to worry about what Beyonce and everybody else is doing. Should I keep ignoring it until it happens to me? I'm chasing my bag. I'm a boss. I'm too busy to worry about real shit. Okay. Well, for the people that are listening to me, for the people that said, you know what, let me subscribe to his channel. Let me share this message. Let me give him some feedback. Let me follow him. Okay, all right. Because this is a reminder, not that there's just a race war. There's a people war. There's a common sense war. And you can either be on the winning side or the losing side. Now, the next question is, who's winning and who's losing? Well, we'll find out. We'll find out. This is Mario J. This is Tough Love. Until next time, adult up.